The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Spears and Ali, weekday morning 7 to 9 on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD4 ESPN Tucson.
Out of time, they pulled off the shot. We're going to overtime. And Mr. Backer, you're quite prophetic.
Spears and Ali Overtime is back on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and comment on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Also, huge thanks to our sponsors, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Tucson Federal Credit Union. On this episode of Spears and Ali Overtime, we're looking ahead to week 1 of the college football slate, including Arizona's season opener against New Mexico.
Yeah.
Man, season's finally here. It's exciting.
And a lot of great games, really starting around noon. You got, Georgia and Clemson. I think the Bulldogs are going to blow the doors off Dabo Swinney, and I will not use the transfer portal. Man, that was a great line, by the way. And I think West Virginia, Penn State is going to be a good game. We see the crowd out there for McAfee with West Virginia. And if you Arizona fans want to see what a passionate fan base looks like, just turn that on. And when I say we got to up our game, just look at all the West Virginia fans and how, football is important for a university for a lot of reasons. And then you got Miami and Florida,
big one,
which is is Billy Napier going to survive Florida? Game 1's going to tell us a lot. He's the head coach of Florida.
Going to get fired after this year and get replaced by Jedd Fisch.
I mean, I don't know. Do they want a 5-7 Jedd Fisch?
Yeah,
they do.
I think they would hire Jedd Fisch.
You do?
Yeah.
You think the Florida Gator fan base...
Because the job's going to open up and Jedd Fisch is going to be like, oh, hey there. Hey, I'm down to come down to the SEC and be a part of the atmosphere in Gainesville. Like, Jedd would lobby for that job for sure.
Oh, I have no doubt.
They gave him the interview.
He'd lobby for it. But what would... he's like, okay, you went 10-3 1 year at Arizona, and then after you reluctantly had to change your quarterback, and then you went 5-7 in Washington. Do you think the alumni base of Florida would be down for that?
I think they would, just because he's going to have the blessing of the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. When that visor wearing legend gives you the stamp of approval, then you're always going to be a legend, right? Or at least the Florida fans would definitely welcome Jedd with open arms. So I think the fact that he was a GA, like when GAs weren't a thing in college football, like Steve Spurrier essentially created a GA role for him. And he got his coaching career started at Florida, went to Florida Law School. So I think the fact that he's a former Gator and is a well-known coach in college football, I think they'd be open for it.
Yeah, I'm a little more cynical about it because, those booster groups and fan bases in the South, especially at the University of Florida, that's had a lot of success, like under Urban Meyer, under Steve Spurrier. I think there'd be a lot of people going, no, we can go bigger. We should get better. But that's for a later date. I don't want to talk about that dude anyway.
But before we do talk about Arizona football and the season opener and just the upcoming season and all the other games going down on Saturday, what do you think about just what we got from week 1 to start off? I mean, we got Colorado versus North Dakota State. Travis Hunter showed that he is one of the top players in college football for a reason. I mean, this dude is just an absolute stud. And then in addition to Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., 7 catches for $198.
He was good last year too. He's a good player, man. I think somewhat overshadowed. And then they got another receiver. I can't remember his name. I think it was number 13. They were purposefully trying to get him the ball. He was fast. He's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Shooter Sanders, good quarterback. The thing about CU is I don't, with all the transfer portal and, I'm bringing new luggage and it's Versace. Their offensive line to me didn't seem like that much of an improvement. North Dakota State constantly got pressure on Shedeur Sanders. And then on the other side of the ball, their defensive line was all right, but didn't create a lot of pressure on North Dakota State's quarterback, who played a good game. So, I mean, North Dakota State lost that game because their safeties were in La La Land. I mean, they're playing cover 2, and not only were they not over the top on the outside receivers, they were trailing. They were leaving the middle of the field wide open, and it was driving me crazy because, of course, we were rooting for North Dakota State, right?
I wasn't.
You weren't?
I had funds on the line. I took Colorado -10. Because I thought with North Dakota State having a new coach, and since they're an FCS team, they're not allowed to use the coach-to-player comm system in the helmets unless they're playing an FBS opponent. And sure enough, North Dakota State, with the funding that they have, they got the communication system, and they used it in last night's game. I thought maybe the newness of all that, coupled with new coach, all that stuff, I thought maybe North Dakota State would come in and lose by 2 touchdowns. It was looking like Colorado was going to cover
that last touchdown.
And then North Dakota State scored one with like a minute left. I was like, damn it.
I know. A minute 30. Well, it was 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and they would have gotten the ball back with at least a minute left. But, I mean, it was really an ill-fated throw by Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
But it turned out good because it resulted in a pass interference, and it was. It's one of those balls that you throw a little short, receiver comes back, defensive back runs into him. It was just too bad. It would have been nice to see North Dakota State. I mean, once you knew you lost your bet, weren't you like, all right. I mean, when I bet on a team and I'm like to cover and they're not going to cover, like I want them to lose, right? Arizona side. But man, North Dakota State's tough. They're a good football team. And I'm looking forward to, homecoming weekend in October. Travis Hunter and T-Mac. That's going to be a great matchup. Travis Hunter is an excellent football player.
When on the other side of that too, Travis Hunter plays wide receiver, and I mean he was spectacular in that season opener against North Dakota State. Him and Takario Davis, going one-on-one. So you got Travis Hunter versus T-Mac, Travis Hunter versus Takario Davis, a projected first-round pick. That homecoming game, prime time in Tucson.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. And then we're watching Pat McAfee do his thing over in West Virginia, and West Virginia is also coming to town for family weekend. And so that's why I'm telling a lot of people in Tucson, when you look at the schedule and you're like, oh man, only 2 ranked opponents on the schedule and they're both at home or both on the road. Pay attention to the season, because remember last year, we didn't think the Pac-12 was going to be as good as it became. And you had teams like Colorado becoming a national darling. Washington State was much better than advertised. And Oregon State was so good. Like all these teams that you didn't really expect to do well, they ended up being great. And then I think the same thing is going to happen with the Big 12. There are a lot of teams in the Big 12 that are not ranked that I think are going to give Arizona all sorts of problems. I'm looking at West Virginia, and I'm looking at UCF.
Yeah. It's not a cakewalk. I mean, just all you have to do is Texas Tech's going to be. I mean, it's a good league. It's a good league, and I know we focus a lot on how great of a basketball league it is. Their Big 12 is really good in football, and preseason rankings are stupid, and they're meaningless. And you know how I feel about them. But I mean, you don't have to look further than Arizona. I mean, how many teams in the Pac-12 last year is like, oh, Arizona, yeah, we got them. They're better, but we got them. They went 10-3.
Yeah.
So you never know. Things happen. And this league the Big 12 is highly competitive. And I think it's going to be a challenge for Arizona. It's not just Utah and Kansas State and Oklahoma State. No, there's a lot of good teams in the league. And we're going to play a few of them. Even they're like, oh, BYU might have a down year. I don't care if BYU's having a down year or mid-year or a great year. We got to go to Provo, and that's never an easy game. So it's going to be a challenging schedule. I still contend that, to me, I think to continue to ride the momentum of last year because of the guys that came back and the way this team is comprised, barring injury, specifically barring injury to a very, very important position group where there's no depth. I'm looking straight at the quarterback position. The floor is 9 games. Arizona going 9-3 is the floor. I think this team can go 11-1. So that's what I'm looking at the range. And I want,
what's that one game that you can't shake?
I can't what?
Because I mean, 11-1, you'd easily say, hey, they're going to go undefeated. They have this great season. They're going to go into the CFP. 11-1. What's that one game that you're just like, man?
Add Utah.
At Utah.
And I know it's a new coaching staff, but I remember that Utah game, and it was, I don't know, when you get on a run of something, like you're in the zone, think about like shooting baskets. Like you ever been in like just playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3 or 5s, And it's like, for some reason, you just can't miss a shot. You're like, you just feeling it, right? That was like that Utah game, like one thing after another. I mean, we were just destroying Utah, and the game was over. And Jetfish puts in Jaden Delora and throws a bomb at the end of the game. And I know that, again, it's a new coaching staff, but Kyle Whittingham's going to bring that up nonetheless.
Yeah.
Because it was the same Arizona team. Like they stuck it to you, and then they kind of rubbed your faces in it. Yeah, we got something for you coming here to Salt Lake. And Utah's a really good team. They got a quarterback that's playing there, longer than LeBron's been in the NBA. And Cam Rising.
That dude's been through. He looks like he's been through a divorce.
Yeah, he's like quit smoking, picked it back up, and quit again.
Yeah.
That's Cam Rising, right? So Utah's that one game, and then I'd like to see a rematch in the Big 12 title game between Utah and Arizona, because I think they're the best two teams in the Big 12. With the caveat that I need to see more Kansas State and Oklahoma State. And probably West Virginia. I'm going to be really interested in West Virginia hosting Penn State, because Penn State's supposed to be kind of loaded this year.
Yeah, number 8 in the country.
And predicted to be in the college football playoff. But, Penn State's always got pretty solid teams, both offensive line, defensive line. They got good DBs. But the skill positions, especially at quarterback, like for the last 3, 4, 5 years at quarterback, Penn State seems like it's like, well, if our quarterback just doesn't make any mistakes and hopefully our defense can score, I would like Iowa is like Penn State light when it comes to defense and offense. I mean, I'm going to miss the Big Ten West, by the way. And those teams their fans trying to argue how just a couple of things could have changed and we could have been national champions. I'm like, come on.
Like Iowa fans?
Like Iowa fans. Yeah, come on. Big Ten West. I mean, I just think that Arizona, you're going to, until I see good quarterback play out of Penn State and receivers that can make something happen, Penn State's going to lose 1 or 2 games, and they're not going to be explosive enough to really contend for a national title. So I see different.
I love a good storyline, Ali. Yeah. Lots of storylines in college football season, but also week 1. What are some things that you're looking forward to most this college football season? For me personally, I think that the new elements added that are similar to the NFL, like the coach to player communications that we just talked about, there's a 2-minute warning that I don't think North Dakota State knew about in the first half. And then the second half, they got it right. So you have the 2-minute warning, you have the coach to player communication. There's just a lot of new things added to college football that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. I mean, just, it doesn't go beyond much of Arizona and the Big 12, like the newness of playing in a new league, all the different new venues, the teams that are come here that we've never really seen before. I think that's got my attention more than anything. I mean, I give a shit about the SEC. In fact,
you're not paying attention to Kalen DeBoer, his first year at Alabama?
No.
Replacing the GOAT, Nick Saban?
I mean, when they win
only
win 7 or 8 games, we'll see how that feels.
Man, if they go like 9-3,
yeah.
Do Alabama fans start questioning Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, they're crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
They'll still make it into the CFP though.
Somehow.
Yeah. I mean, if they lose 3 games,
we just thought the strength of schedule was there.
If they go 9-3, they're gonna have to have beaten some good teams. I'm looking not forward to, but I'm curious about how the college football playoff is going to shake out. And is it going to be just obvious that the whole college football playoff system was set up for the SEC and the Big Ten?
Yeah.
And then, it's like, oh, we've got this whole pizza. You can have a slice, Big 12. Here's a slice for you, ACC. I don't have any pizza for you, Group of 5, but Boise State, here's some garlic nuts. And the rest is for us. I have a feeling that's exactly going to be this.
What are the garlic knots the equivalent of?
You get the 12th seed, and you'll play the 5 seed, and the winner will play the number 1 seed, Georgia Bulldogs, in their stadium in Athens. Because I think the college football playoff, the way it's set up, I think the first round or 2 are at the home venues of the higher seed.
Yep.
Right. And then
Damn,
once
I
you
didn't
get
know that. That's cool.
yeah. And then once you get to what is it, the Final Four, it goes to the like Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl,
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's the garlic knots. Is like, hey, Boise State, great year. Yeah, you guys did great in the Mountain West. Okay, so you're gonna play the 5th seed, and that is LSU in LSU.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you by chance are able to beat them, you'll get Georgia, but you're not going to get past number 5. So I'm rooting. I'll be rooting for Boise State or whoever comes out of that group of 5. But yeah, that's basically what it is. And I think that the transformation into kind of a more think about the divisions in the NFL, something like that in college football. I think the biggest hurdle to that is the SEC and Big Ten, because I don't know if those commissioners want to give up their power, right? Because you're almost saying, okay, let's create a parity system where it's based on merit on the field, not just because we're the SEC. So, and the SEC football is good. I just can't stand it. But they did a smart thing. They made ESPN basically their partner. And so ESPN, you're going to see more SEC games than ever. The other thing I'm interested in, and I'm actually excited about, is Big 12 gets a lot more visibility from what I've seen.
Yeah.
What the TV slate's going to be on ESPN, on Fox. And
now there will be some games like the NAU game for Arizona. It will be streaming only on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
But if you got a smart TV, which a lot of people do, you could get ESPN Plus. You can stream it, and it's super easy.
Yeah.
Just need an ESPN Plus account.
And I'm sure people are going to bitch about that. Go to the game or get ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
But I prefer you to go to the game. So I think it's just like kind of the change is good. You know, I'm not a big status quo guy. So I think this is actually good for Arizona. Now, can we, from an athletic department standpoint and a football program standpoint, can we rise to the occasion? I think we can.
Yeah.
It's all there for us. But there's a lot of challenges that we have never had to deal with before, especially with the changing landscape of college athletics as a whole. Before
we talk about Arizona football and the game coming up here on Saturday, and also maybe Arizona football memories of, some games that you've attended, is there an upset special that you're banking on this weekend in the college football slate?
Well, I like taking the points in North Dakota State yesterday. I don't know if it's an upset, but I think
Texas A&M beating Notre Dame at Kyle Field.
I could see that, right?
Now it's 2 ranked teams, but Texas A&M, they are ranked number 20 in the country. Is it considered an upset if they're favored? They're 3-point favorites, but they're
no.
I think that's the definition of not an upset.
That's not an upset.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Texas A&M is going to give Notre Dame all it can handle. If Notre Dame can win that game somehow, their schedule lines up that they'll be in the college football playoff as an at-large. I think Florida is favored over Miami. Am I right?
Let me see.
Nothing.
Florida, Atlanta. Okay. Florida. No, Miami -2.5.
Yeah, okay. So that's not an upset either. I guess my biggest upset, I can see it. We kind of talked about him earlier, is I don't know enough about Penn State. I like James Franklin as a coach, at least from, a distance. If Penn State doesn't have playmakers on offense like I don't think they've had the last couple of years, it's in Morgantown. I could see West Virginia beating Penn State.
You don't think Western Kentucky is going to take down Alabama?
I'm not optimistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now 31.5 points. That's how much Alabama is favored by. I can see, was it Western Kentucky getting within 3 or 4 touchdowns?
Yeah.
So I would say probably look for them to cover, not beat Alabama.
By the way, tough game last night. North Carolina, Minnesota was a really good game.
Oh man.
And
they set off the fireworks after the missed field goal. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. So Minnesota was attempting the walk-off game-winning field goal, and it was wide right, and the stadium set off the fireworks.
As though they made it.
Yeah.
They thought they made it. Yeah.
So North Carolina beat Minnesota 19-17 last night. But the thing that was just too bad is Max Johnson is the starting quarterback from North Carolina. His dad is Brad Johnson. Remember him? He used to play for the Minnesota Vikings. His quarterback. Played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he suffered some sort of injury. It didn't look good. Got carted off in the third quarter. So, yeah, you hate to see that in game one. And that's the thing. You talk about new coaching staff. Can they coach? Can they recruit? No, I'm not worried about that with Arizona. Defensive line. Dwayne Aquina doesn't come off to me as a guy that just blows smoke up your butt. I think if he says you're going to be pleasantly surprised and we're really happy with what we got on defensive line, I believe him. Offensively, we know what we got. My fear for Arizona is the things that cannot be controlled. And, the thing that, like, could we survive T-Mac being out a few games depending on those games? I think we could. We got a lot of depth at receiver. Can we survive Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt being out a couple of games at the running back position? Yeah, we got Conley, we got Speedy Luke. It's a deep running back room. The defensive line looks pretty deep. We got Justin Flo for depth at linebacker. Defensive backfield's got depth. I just don't know enough about the backup. But to me, if like some guy just lands the wrong way, our quarterback needs to stay healthy the whole year.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's my biggest fear is, can we keep Noah Fafita healthy all year? And, Noah, he doesn't run a lot, but he does it strategically, I would say.
Yeah.
Just get down, man. Just get down. You don't need those extra 2 yards. Yeah.
Also, going back to like upsets of the week in week one, look for the defending Arizona Bowl champions, Wyoming Cowboys, coming down to Tempe to play the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Oh,
and
that'd be
ASU,
so sweet.
ASU is -7. That they're favored by a touchdown. I know Wyoming has a new coach, right? Craig Bowl is no longer there.
Yeah, Sawwall.
Yeah, so they're
and he's a good coach.
There's some newness to Wyoming, but those Cowboys are always a tough out.
They're going to play hard. They're going to play fast. They're going to play ferocious. And ASU better be prepared. And ASU got a new quarterback, the furniture guy. What's his name? Sam Levitz.
Oh, Sam Levitt. Yeah.
Yep. It's Sam Levitt's team.
Sam Levitz. Yeah. Let's see if he's any good. ASU, Coach Dillingham did a good job recruiting, brought in some guys, but Wyoming brought back a lot of guys too. They're experienced veteran team, and they're going to give the Sun Devils everything they can handle. 7 points seems like a lot of points to me. I will be betting on Wyoming.
Damn straight,
man. That'd be so wild, especially knowing like Kangaika, was it?
Oh, Jacob Kangaika, transferred to ASU.
Yeah.
He's like one of those. They do the depth chart now, and it's like, well, we got two guys that are really good. One guy may start the game, the other guy's going to play a lot. So now in the depth charts, it says, player A or player B. And so Kangaika is like the or player B. So he's going to be playing snaps for ASU based on the depth chart.
Football staffs think they're so clever.
It's like, I don't know. We don't want to hurt their feelings. Like,
yeah. Well, that's how it is with Arizona's running backs. It's I put in my story. It's or galore, because they have who was it? Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the running back from New Mexico.
Usually, I can't say his name. Yeah, that hot sauce really affected you.
That messed me up.
You've gone out to Arizona practices without sunscreen. You've played golf, and I call you the sweet cherry tomato. I've never seen your face more red than when you took that hot sauce and you put it on. I'm going to steal this from Andrew because it's so on point. You don't put hot sauce like that on enchilada style, buddy. The whole chip does not need to be covered.
For context, for anyone who's just listening to Overtime, was it Wesley Source? There you go. Yeah. Who brought in the Last Dab Experience hot sauce, which is made with Pepper X, which is the hottest pepper in the world, verified by Guinness Book of World Records.
Was that the one I had?
Yes.
So I just put like a drop.
Yeah.
It was hot.
You're supposed to put a dab on, hence the name.
Yeah. That's why it's always like, Justin, you go first. Right. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. And literally my guy here, I mean, like
I felt like one of those cartoons where like they stub their toe or they eat something hot and they immediately turn red and like the steam blows out of their ears.
That's what you look like.
And they go through the ceiling.
Yes. That's how I was feeling.
Your face was, real honestly, you're like, the way you were looking, it was like, oh, there's a porta potty that's been used on a construction site for 1.5 years. It's never been cleaned out. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to lock Justin in there for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And your face was like, oh my God, what is happening? I thought you were going to start crying.
I was.
Yeah.
I was on the verge of tears because that was one of the hottest things I've ever tried.
Mm-hmm. Might be the hottest hot sauce you'll ever have.
And see, I thought I was being a bitch about it. I thought like, oh, I'm supposed to like douse this chip with the sauce.
No.
And you guys are like, no. You were excessive.
Yeah. No, you weren't being a bitch about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
now let's talk about everything, the rest of the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's where you were being that. But
no. And then the other one that was supposed to be a little less hot was actually the one I was scared of more because it had a guy's face on there with like you couldn't really see his face, but with a black Abraham Lincoln hat. I don't know what those hats are called.
Top hats?
Stovetop? Pipe top.
When it comes to scary movies and it comes to any kind of food item, if you got a guy like a blank face with a hat like that, it usually means, yeah, it's gonna be scary. It's gonna maybe stay away.
Stovepipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there was a movie. There was actually a scary movie where the monster actually wore a hat like that.
Yeah. The is that like the second Conjuring, the Bendy Man or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
The Crooked Man.
Yeah, the Crooked Man. Yeah, Justin was the crooked man after he had that hot sauce.
Yeah,
and literally, you knew he was doing the wrong thing, and your friend for over a decade.
Yeah,
you're like, you know what? Fuck him.
Let's ride this out, baby.
You're not blowing smoke up my ass, Ollie Farhang. I know you would have done the same fucking thing.
No, I would have definitely told Justin, you may want to have a couple more chips and just dab it before. I just didn't see.
I was doing it for entertainment purposes.
Well, it was highly entertaining, so mission accomplished.
Miss Valerie, my mother, texted me during the show. It was like, get some milk.
Get some milk. I went in. There's nothing in the refrigerator in the kitchen, but I'm like, there's a couple packets of ranch. Should I grab it from my guy right now and just throw some ranch down his gullet?
No, straight up. I would have like put it on the back of my tongue and just cooled it off because that was hot. Never again.
Yeah. But made my stomach hurt. I had to go get some antacids.
But this Los Gatos that's going to be at Arizona Stadium, I had some of this. Very, very good.
That's actually the one I didn't have.
Very good.
It's like sweet and spicy kind of.
Yeah, it's good. I can see.
Can I smell it?
Like in a soup, or
I was thinking about putting on eggs,
like a stir fry eggs,
like eggs and tamales.
Oh, yeah,
during that time of year.
So you're gonna eat more than one tamale. I still don't believe it. If you order a single tamale, it's called a tamal. I don't believe it.
See, I thought, I was calling it correctly, tamale on Twitter, and then someone was like, I'm actually kind of offended that you refer to it as a tamale and not a tamal.
I think that person is wrong, and just because you saw it on Twitter doesn't mean it's right.
That's true.
If you go to like Tucson Tamale, great place locally, and you're like, I would like a green chili tamale. Their board says tamale. It doesn't say tamal.
Yeah,
I just don't believe that person.
And I looked it up, and actually on the Charo Tamale Bowl menu, right below it says one chicken tamal.
Does it really?
Yeah, just take out the E.
Well, if that offends you, man, you don't know Justin very well, because he's got way better stuff to offend you than calling a tamale a tamal. God, I'm offended.
So in Spanish, it's tamal, but tamale is singular and plural.
Yeah. See, that person's right. Once again, Justin greatly affected with somebody whose Twitter handle ends with XY1234.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the numbers. If their Twitter account ends with like 5 numbers, then it's a troll.
Yeah. And
you can have a number in it, right? Like I think you got 32 in yours.
Yeah.
So like that's a number that represents you.
Yeah. Ali Boumaye 32. My favorite number.
But 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, like no, that's not gonna work. That's
Jenny, I think. Or no, that's probably Mary.
No, that was 8675309.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Arizona football. We did our Arizona football preview special on Friday. Great show. I mean, we spoke with Yogi Roth, Chad Shootman, the director of the Pride of Arizona.
The Shootmeister.
Wesley Source, that we just talked about, came in and talked about the good options that they have at Arizona Stadium for concessions, including my personal 2 favorites, the elote bites and churro nachos,
which you might not be able to taste anymore.
Yeah, I think I scorched all my taste buds.
The Source Force.
And Chris McAllister. Chris McAllister joining the show, the former Arizona Wildcat, who's the honorary captain, played for the Baltimore Ravens, one of the best U of A football players of all time, had a great career in the NFL. It was a great conversation with him. And then Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats, always bringing some good stuff. So if you haven't yet, listen to the Arizona Football Preview Special, Friday's edition of Spears and Ali, wherever you get your podcast. But we were talking all things Arizona football, and it got me thinking about that first time that you went to Arizona Stadium and you watched a football game. What was your first game at Arizona Stadium that you remember?
Shit.
No clue.
No clue?
No
man.
clue whatsoever. I mean, because I went so early in my life. Like,
yeah.
Same.
I mean, even basketball. I mean, I went to basketball, the blue seats?
Yeah.
Those weren't there, and they were all bleachers in McHale. And so we were all like what I would consider like the red section now was like the first row of McHale, watching Freddie the Fox Snowden coach and some great teams. Football, man, I really don't recall the first game I ever been to, but man, there's been some great games in that stadium. And maybe the nickname of the stadium needs to be called the Zoo. Maybe we get a title sponsor.
Reed Park Stadium. The Zoo.
The Zoo.
Yeah.
We can come up with something better than that. But yeah, the Zoo sounds like a good place. Then we can play Welcome to the Jungle as our intro song, right? With the crowd going crazy. I was thinking about that when we were talking to the Chad, from the Pride of Arizona, who was awesome.
Yeah.
McAllister, we had a great guest today. Good job by you. Once again, great lineup, perfect lineup for Arizona Stadium. I have 2 Rupert the Reporter questions to ask you.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? Question number 1. In the press box, no
ovulating.
I know that, but they put out food for the press. How bitchy do some of the guys, some of your colleagues, or you get about whether the food is good enough or not, even though you're getting free ass food and you got in the stadium for free?
Yeah, I think, some guys have brought it up in the past just because it's like the same cycle of stuff. And they're like, hey, how about changing it up a little bit? I'm like, I ain't complaining about chicken tenders and corn dog bites. What are we doing here? Now, the one thing that does suck is at halftime, they bring out the halftime brownies and halftime cookies. Always good with a cup of coffee. That's like my routine. I have a little like triangle brownie thing, have a cup of coffee, revives me, gets me ready for the second half. But in my time as the beat writer last year, I'm trying to finish up my first half updates, and I hit save and I go up. All the brownies are gone.
Okay.
That was consistently. That's my only gripe is like all these people come in and just hog all the brownies, and there's none left for the Arizona football beat reporter.
Who's all these people?
I mean, we also share the press box, like the highest floor in the press box. There's coaches, right? There's coaches a couple of rooms down. You got the broadcasters for TV. You got the radio guys like Brian Jeffries and all those guys. And then way down the hallway, you got like Arizona president, Arizona athletic director, like boosters, all sorts of other people.
They're not eating that food, buddy. They got their own food.
Well, I see them in our area, and I'm like, you better get the hell away.
In our area.
In our
the
area.
President and the athletic director.
Oh, no, not
what
those
are
guys.
you doing in our area?
Not those guys.
Our brownies.
Not those guys. I'm just
Becky. Yeah.
But like the people that are like showing up to their suite, I'm like, you guys got all that champagne, all that stuff in your room. Stay in there. Stay in there. Stop taking my freaking brownies.
I think he answered his second question. I didn't want him to name anybody, but I think he just named himself. Who's the biggest crybaby indignant bitch when it comes to the food?
And you're looking at him.
Question number 3. Again, I'm never asking.
It's just availability that I'm complaining about, not the food itself.
Or you could just wait a second before you did your first half thing. Go get your brownie and then come down.
Later on in the season, I found a formula. Like during during a timeout break, kind of near the end. There's like a team scores, whether it's Arizona or the other team, they score and there's like 4 or 5 minutes left. Then I get up, go get my brownie, put in a napkin, and I come back and I finish my first half of updates while everyone's scrambling, trying to get the brownies while they're waiting in line. I hit save. I'm like, okay, brownie time.
Your formula is
Get there earlier.
Yeah, preemptive.
Yeah, pre-order the brownie.
Yeah,
essentially.
Okay, I got 4 questions. Here's question number 3.
While Brett is recharging his cattle prod that apparently he keeps on you at all times.
I know I would never ask you to call anybody out, but is there one person in the local press in particular, let's call him Vern, that
or Shirley,
or everybody's like, there goes Vern again. Like, fuck, did he not eat at all for the last 2 days? He's got like 3 plates. And it's like, man, this guy cannot, or woman, cannot pass up the opportunity to eat as much food as possible because it's free. Is there one person you guys make fun of kind of behind the scenes?
Not behind the scenes.
Right to his
fucking face. And honestly, like, I haven't seen him like hog the food, but one person I am just so fascinated by is our guy, Mike Luke, who fills in on Spears and Ali from time to time. I am so jealous of Mike. Like, so jealous, because this man has the diet of like a little kid. Like, he eats like burgers and Del Taco and more burgers from Del Taco, and
which they're very good.
Double Del.
You guys got to get on that.
You tried it?
He did a video.
Yeah.
He doesn't do our shorts of this, but man, he makes some great videos
food
for
tasting.
him. Yeah.
You got a Del Taco mukbang.
Yeah, I'm tired of begging, but he did it, and I would say you gave it like basically 9.5 out of 10.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And Mike,
what kind of sauce is on it? Is there?
I don't know.
Is there mayonnaise on it, or
no? Not that I could detect.
All right, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
And Mike eats like that kind of stuff all the time. Like, that's all he eats. When I think they were in Vegas or they were somewhere on the road, PHNX was, and Mike got an entire like box of either ice cream sandwiches or drumsticks and ate the entire box in like one sitting.
Wow.
And he's skinny as hell. I'm like, dude,
he does work out.
Does he?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe that's
pretty religiously.
I think he works out pretty aggressively. So I think there's
a trade.
There's a reason. Yeah. I think he's earning.
Yeah.
Like, he always posts those things. I deserve this. I think he actually probably does deserve it, because he just worked out for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just jealous.
His cholesterol is probably wild, but he deserves it.
All right. Question number 4 is this. We just talked to Wesley Source about all these new foods, right? I know how it is when I go out to eat with the 2 of you guys. Wallets are forgotten in the cars. That's cool. But you get into the game for free. Now you have a job to do. The University of Arizona is gracious enough to put some food out there for you guys, some things to drink. I'm guessing none of this new food options are going to be in the press box.
No.
They're going to be outside.
They'll be outside.
Will Justin Spears spend money and buy one of these food options outside, or the chicken tenders and the
I'm too cheap.
mini corn dogs are good?
I'm too cheap. Like, I'll take the free food over paying for better food. I don't even know how much the elote bites are. And that's why, like, during the food tasting event, I made sure to capitalize on those elote bites. I'm like, I'm going to eat as much as possible. Dude, I felt like I was at Sweet Tomatoes. Like, I walked out of that food tasting event like, oh my God, my tummy is so full.
Incredible.
But I'll see how much they are.
I'm just so.
And if it's like $15 for like 4 of those little things, I'm gonna be like, no, sorry. I'm gonna enjoy the free chicken tenders and free corn dog bites and the free brownie.
Game starts at 7. What time do you get to the stadium?
Starts at 7:30.
7:30. Sorry.
Yeah, so noon.
I will not get there at noon. I'll probably 11
a.m. Huh?
I usually get there at least 2 hours before kickoff, because I like to get some work done before all that stuff.
All right, that goes to my bonus question.
What work?
Bonus question. How much of your strategy of your timing of when to get to the stadium correlates with that's when the food comes out, and so I can eat before I have to start doing anything?
Oh man, now you're revealing my secrets. that plays a huge part.
He's twisting the shit out of that beard.
Yeah, damn. You guys know me so well.
5:30 food comes out at 5:35. Yeah, so if I get there, I walk up, they're just going to be serving. I put my computer down, it'll still be hot.
The carts roll at about 1.2 miles per hour, so we know that they take about 3.5 minutes to get around the stadium.
Yeah, I honestly think if you watch the movie Beautiful Mind, when all the equations are going through the air, I think that's literally what Justin's head looks like on game day about how to time getting to the stadium so that he can maximize his food intake before actually having to do any work.
Yeah. I get my plate of food, eat it, get my belly nice and full, and then I get ready for the game. I usually am one of the first media guys there at the stadium, and they have the food ready.
You said you get there early to do work. What work?
It's more like the food. I'm getting to work.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I do multiple stories on game day. So, I do my game recap and then, all the hangover stuff after that. But I also do what's called a rail story in print purposes or print terms. The rail is the story that runs down the side of the page. And usually it's like a 600, 800 word story, whatever it is. And the rails is usually called seen and heard. So it's just about like the stuff around the game. Like if it's Hispanic Heritage Night, write about the folklorio. Is that what it's called? The
folklorico, yeah.
Folklorico, the dancers and the mariachis and stuff like that. I'll write about stuff like that. If there's an honorary captain, like my rail story for Saturday will be Chris McAllister coming back. We spoke to him on ESPN Tucson. It's pretty much going to be, hey, Chris McAllister joined Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson before the game. Here's what he had to say. That's the rail.
Hey, can I ask you a question? I hate when people start with like that. Let me just ask you a question. Chris McAllister was awesome.
He's great.
He was awesome.
Great.
I
wish I should have asked about Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
He was a part of that.
And you're going to rail him this weekend.
We should have had, well, it would, yeah.
He said it.
And opinions expressed by Andrew Trujillo are not shared by Justin Spears.
Don't worry. I put the disclaimer on
there. But yeah, he was awesome to talk to. And I'm glad, I love seeing the old, the players that played in the past come back. And I love it when our programs really embrace them. I think Tommy Lloyd's done a great job with basketball at the Arizona Assist Golf Tournament yesterday. By the way, great job by President of Basketball Operations, Matt King. It was a great tournament, a lot of fun.
Shout out.
I got a cool new Arizona hat. By the way, there's a hat company called I got to come up with it. It's like lids.com or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that started that he's from Tucson.
What?
Yeah,
and checks out.
And the hats are amazing. Yeah, the dude is a cool dude, man. Anyway, I got a great Arizona hat yesterday.
Wow.
But what I was saying was Jason Terry was there yesterday. Mike Bibby was there, and you had the guys that are local like Geary and Muehlbach. Tommy introduced the team to all the people that golfed at the luncheon that was after the golf tournament. And by the way, I'm just going to tell you right now, our basketball team is going to be really fucking good this year.
Yeah.
And
Caleb Love changed his number, right?
I don't know about that.
I thought he's rocking number 1 now.
I don't that I don't know. But the transfer from Tennessee.
Oh, it's Toby
Awaka. You guys don't know what I know. He's going to be that guy. You're going to fall in love with him. He is a brick house. We got 2 5s. Mo Crevis has got put a lot of weight on him.
Is he mighty?
Dude, Awaka.
Yeah.
This time.
Letting it all hang out.
Well, I'll tell you what's hanging out is the bruises on the team, the guys he's playing in practice right now, because he is just absolutely built. And between him and Mo Crevis, and then you got Stevenson, the freshman, who's a developmental guy. The 5 spot is good at Arizona. Our basketball team is going to be really good. But I digress. Tommy Lloyd's done a great job bringing guys back. The Red Blue game on October 4th. There's going to be an after party. The proceeds of that after party, you got to pay to go in, Justin. Sorry. Go to NIL. We're going to have Paige Rep or John Rallis on to talk about it. Maybe sometime in mid-September. It is going to be at Gilbert Arenas is going to be hosting that. Jefferson will be back. Channing Frye will be back. I mean, as an Arizona fan, I love seeing the guys come back and like really feel like they're part of the program.
Once you pay to get in, are there corn dog bites?
You have to find out.
Oh,
you have to find out.
But I thought you would appreciate the Caleb Love jersey number change because he wore number 2, which you have talked about numerous times. It's a cursed number.
Cursed number. I'm if he is changing his number, I like Caleb Love. Number.
No, as I move my computer and
number
camera
1.
around. Hey,
yeah.
What are you doing over there?
Sorry, I'm moving my camera too.
So number 2 will be a walk-on, Addison Arnold, which is cool. Like Addison. I think Addison was a walk-on, then left for a couple of years and then came back. A lot of guys on the roster on this basketball team. I think there's like 20 guys on the roster. Got a lot of walk-ons.
Walk on you.
But
including Tommy Lloyd's son, Liam Lloyd.
Who's, you know what?
And Desiree Reed Francois' son, Jackson Francois.
Liam Lloyd is a really good basketball player. Was good at NAU. He's probably, him and Grant Whiteman as from walk-ons, probably 2 guys that could play anywhere. I mean, not like.
Kind of reminds me of Jordan Maines.
Who?
Jordan Maines a few years ago. He was like that.
Yeah. Those guys, they're good. They're good basketball players. So it's not nepotism there. But I just, like I said, I like the sense of community and, you know, the banner of Arizona, the family, keeping the family together, embracing the family, past and present. Like, to me, those are really important things. So it's cool to see with the football team, and having a guy like Chris McAllister be the honorary captain, I think is really cool. Probably a tradition. You know, one of the things we vilify Jedd Fisch. A lot, some of it is definitely deserved. Brent Brennan does a great job of giving credit to Jedd Fisch of recruiting really good players and really good people. Tommy Lloyd does a really good job of, I do this to honor what Fred Snowden, Lute Olson, and Sean Miller have built. They talk about it all the time. So I think that that tradition of having an honorary captain of a guy that played for us in the past and was that was a good idea by Jedd Fisch. And, you know, kudos to Brent Brennan for acknowledging that and continuing on that tradition.
There's got to be a chant for Toby Awako, right? It's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Dude, what was that?
What song am I thinking of?
Down with the Sickness.
Down with Sickness.
Yeah.
So, I got to work on it. It's not as good as my you know, ooh mow mow ma ooh mow mow ma ooh mow ma mow mow mow.
Yeah. Or what's that Shakira song that she did for like the Olympics? Waka Waka.
I thought that was Fozzie Bear from.
That is also
Muppets.
Fozzie Bear, but
Yeah.
there's I'm pretty sure that's a Shakira song. Somebody listening to the podcast knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Waka waka waka. You sound like fucking.
This
Batman.
time for Africa, right? Waka Waka. Hey.
Oh yeah,
like that, right? Yeah. See, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
Batman.
You are
say.
crazy, but you're
Waka,
also
waka,
we're
waka,
right
waka.
about that.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
Waka Waka.
Anyway, Waka is really good. Really good pickup in the transfer portal by Tommy. The guy from Oakland, Trey Townsend,
Is the
also good.
he's a big guy, right? Toby Awaka.
Yeah.
Is there like a Chewbacca reference in there?
I don't know, man.
Toby Chewbacca.
I don't think so. I think the Waka song that we're talking about might be good.
Waka Flocka Flame, the rapper. Remember him?
I'll let you guys workshop this and come up with something. Your beard is so twisted right now. Did those Rupert the Reporter questions really put you under the spot?
It did, man. I felt seen.
You did, yeah.
I'm like, damn, I am exposed right now.
Yeah. You were making him the story.
Which never is supposed to happen.
But I was reporting on it objectively.
Mm-hmm.
So we have no doubt that he's the most indignant, petulant snob
about that.
when it comes to
God
what food
damn.
is served.
I know. I appreciate the food.
And
I just want the brownies to be available.
And he's also strategizing about when to get there so he can maximize his food intake prior to game time.
I can't hate on that.
Does the food disappear? Is it gone by a certain time?
Yeah, I mean, right before halftime, they take it away.
I know,
and,
but-
and then they bring out the brownies.
No. What I'm asking is this. Are you ravenous savages of reporters? When they put the food
No.
out, is it like basically a bunch of cockroaches and all the food is gone?
I wouldn't say it's like that, but there is a big line. And see, that's a part of it is like I'm getting stuff done before game time. And I'm also watching warm-ups too for guys who are hurt, who's playing, who's in the starting lineup, who's going through the walkthroughs and stuff like that. all that stuff happens 1 hour leading up to kickoff. So usually that hour leading up to kickoff, I'm right there in the press box with my binoculars looking out like, all right, this guy's playing, this guy's out. All right, let me tweet that. Let me report that, whatever. So that I usually get there early because, I know I'm going to be really busy the hour leading up to kickoff. So I try to get my food in.
So you an hour up to kickoff, you got to really get going and start looking at that stuff. So you have a solid hour to eat.
That's what I'm saying. Like I get there 2 hours before, and I get my food. I work on my laptop.
Do you eat?
And I also just like to just chill there. I don't like to be in a rush and scramble. So
do you eat while you work? I mean, like how much chicken grease is on that keyboard?
No, there's no chicken grease on this keyboard.
It's like,
no, I'm not doing any of that stuff. None of that.
What about is there a seniority system in the press box when it comes to food? Like if Brian Jeffries walks in and like you're at the front of the line, they're like, "Hi, Justin, how you doing?" Step back.
What am I gonna say?
I just imagine Justin sitting there in the press box, like, "Oh, game starting."
Yeah.
Shaking off the crumbs.
Brian, I'm being serious. I mean, Brian's got to be on the radio. He's a highly respected, esteemed member of the Arizona Wildcat family. If he walks in line, he's not standing in the back of the line, is he?
No. And I also, think about the broadcasters too. Like I'm writing. I don't really have like a hard time that I got to be somewhere, be on the air.
Yeah.
So if like
he's doing the pregame show too.
Exactly. Yeah. So if Brian Jeffries comes out, yeah, Brian, go ahead.
You can have the last brownie, Brian. It's okay.
Oh, I would.
I keep saying last question, but you keep talking and more questions pop in my head. Is there one member of the press that always has food on their mouth?
You're looking at him.
Seriously?
No.
No.
No, I make sure. Because I always go and wash my hands. Like
I'm not talking about you. I think that you actually try to be somewhat civilized. You might have food in your beard, you don't recognize it.
Yeah,
like the twisty beard and like a chicken crumb in there, like nestled right into that twisty beard.
Saving it for later.
But is there like one guy is like, I don't know why that guy just cannot wipe ketchup off his mouth.
Michael Lev.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, Michael's a very clean person.
It's probably also Mike Luke. If I had to theorize.
I definitely got a couple guys in mind. None of those guys are the ones, but I don't know. I'm not up there. I come up there like when I walk around and I just come up there and I say hello. These guys like are so not fun to talk to. It's like, okay, you can't ovulate at the game, but you can't even just be a little engaging in a conversation when a guy comes in there and says hello. No. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Hi.
Yeah. All right, cool.
We have to be quiet. One of us is counting all the blades of grass on the field.
Yeah.
Got to keep quiet, man.
68
quiet
trillion.
For what?
Even though people don't respect that rule. Some people don't, but
you can't cheer, but you have to be quiet too.
Oh no, you could talk quietly. Yeah. Like people, we talk in the press box.
Is there a shush guy?
There have been some moments where the SIDs in Arizona athletics have shushed us. Really? Not me in particular, but just the group.
Any like really exciting rivalries between press members? Like, oh, they're standing next to each other in line. Shit could go down right now.
Man. There was I don't know if I should be telling the story, but
you should.
There was one.
This will definitely get you to do a short because he's calling someone out. Come on.
No, I'm not going to say him by name, but right. There was once a radio guy here, or a broadcaster,
right? And some said he wasn't poor, but he also wasn't rich.
Yes,
or was he rich?
Yes. Yeah. So there was a time where I think it was like Military Appreciation Day, and they were doing the Pride of Arizona marching band. They were doing like the songs of the certain branches of military, right? Like the Army, the Navy, they have their own like fight songs, right?
Yeah.
And so they were playing those songs. They were, hoisting the flags and doing all that. And the I think they did SpaceX too, or Space Force or something like that.
SpaceX.
Yeah,
Elon's getting in on it.
Yes, Space Force.
He's working on it, man.
Yeah.
He's definitely trying.
And someone was like, well, I mean, if they're doing Space Force, like, where's like the Merchant Marines? And the person who said that usually is a pretty sarcastic person. And the person who got offended, their kid is in the Merchant Marines, which is like, thank you for your service. Like, huge shout out to him. But he took it as like him being sarcastic.
Sounded a little sarcastic.
I didn't view it as sarcastic. I looked at it as like, dude, no, you're right. If you're going to put Space Force out there, you're going to put every little like teeny tiny branch of military service out there. You got to put Merchant Marines. I'm sorry. You got to do it. And so like, I thought what the guy said, I thought he made a very fair observation, but
he was surely just making an observation.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And the person who was offended was, he definitely was like, yo, what are you saying? You got a problem? Like, it was the only time I've ever seen like a confrontation in the press box.
Has that been as close as it's gotten to like
fisticuffs?
Yeah.
He pretty much.
Yeah.
But I don't even think like, I was never like, damn, this is about to like go down.
I would have loved to see that fight.
But it was getting towards it.
Yeah.
So
the guy that said the Merchant Marine line, I definitely bet on him. It would have been a pummeling.
Yeah. But that's the closest thing I've seen to a kerfuffle in the press box.
Yeah. And is Hansen still showing up?
The whole time they would have been like, shh.
Hansen's still showing up for football games?
That fight, it would have been like the scene in The Other Guys where they're at the funeral. Yeah. And they're fighting against each other, but they're like trying to be quiet out of respect. Like, yeah, kick his ass. Kick his ass. No, Hansen still shows up. Yeah, he still shows up and is the best, man.
He's the best.
I love Greg Hansen.
I definitely need your password again so I can start reading his articles again. So just text
I got you.
Me. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to get back in that press box at Arizona Stadium, eat all the chicken tenders, eat all the corn dog bites and the brownies. Love it. And a good cup of coffee on a Saturday night at Arizona Stadium.
And then you shit blood.
Can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Coffee?
I don't know.
No. But I think it's going to be, the game's at 7:30, and based on like the evenings, like even last night was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be
cooling
really
off, man. Days are getting shorter.
This morning, I drove to the station, like 6:15ish, and I'm like, do I feel the crisp of the air? I think I do. It's like right there, right? It's like just
pumpkin spice.
It's like Justin reaching for that brownie. It's like it's not in his hands yet, but it's going to be there soon because he's got a strategy. And it's like,
yeah.
You do the brownies and cookies go. So that's the one thing that just goes.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest
hoarder?
Do you have to grab 5 brownies, dude?
Freaking Mike Luke.
I'm
not just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Everything's Mike.
No, Mike's very respectful when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Do you eat?
They all are. Everyone is.
You go up there strategically waiting for the brownies to be placed down. You're there when food is placed down. So good for you. Prepared. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. You are successful when it comes to ingesting food. Let me ask you this. When you go to the brownie plate, does one brownie go immediately in your mouth and then the other in the napkin for later?
I have done that in the past.
That's just working smarter.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah.
Man, sometimes you can lie to me.
I try to be as truthful as possible.
That's how I work at Christmas. Like at my grandma's, there's the big table of cookies.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep. And here, let's make a plate. Yeah.
Wow.
Got to.
Before we get out of here, score prediction for Saturday.
Arizona 52, New Mexico 10.
I got Arizona winning 42. Let's go 14.
Yeah. So I got the cover. You got no cover, but
Lobos.
We both have the over.
Yes, we do. Which is at 50.5 right now.
Yeah.
We'll see how much that changes. But exciting times. Week 1 of the college football slate is underway.
How many running backs score a touchdown? Not how many running backs score, how many touchdowns by running backs? How many different running backs score a touchdown? I'm saying over under is 2.5.
I'm going over 3.
Yeah, 3.
I got Krosky Merritt scoring a couple tutties against his former team. Give me Rayshon Speedy Luke also scoring a touchdown as well. I think Quali Conley will be close, but Krosky Merritt will finish off the job on those drives.
So you got 2. That's under. Who's got the third?
Oh, running backs total.
Yeah.
That's
total. So
we're
how many
talking-
different
running backs
backs?
Yeah, Quali Conley. Yeah, let's get
Conley
him.
will score on a short route or something.
Yeah, the goal line.
Yeah.
Put the power back in, and who knows? Maybe they run up the score. Maybe we're talking about Kedrick Roscano, Caden Luke, the walk-on from CDO.
I think those guys are going to get in the game. My prediction, I actually might go first half. I think Arizona's up 35-0 at halftime.
Comfy. Nice comfy lead.
Yeah.
All right, so Arizona taking on New Mexico Saturday night at Arizona Stadium. Kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. on ESPN, but rather than watching it on ESPN, go out to the game.
Go out to the game.
Get your tickets. I'll be there. Ollie will be there. Andrew, hope to see you there.
I might. I have a draft that night, and there is a party, but I will be watching at the very, very least.
Heck yeah.
So
this is the guy we need him to, instead of going to QT every day, spend $15 and take your wife to a football game. 15, $20.
It's not a price thing. I just have another.
Who puts their fantasy football draft on Saturday?
It was not my
Week 1.
choice. It was not my choice. I got outvoted.
Yeah, you were right. These guys in Tucson too.
Mm-hmm.
So none of them want to go to the game. They just want to go do their fantasy football. You can't do it in the middle of the day.
No, because a lot of us work weekends.
Huh.
Yeah.
No Sunday.
Mm-mm. I don't know. Like I said, man.
So what time's your fantasy football draft start?
7:30.
Unbelievable.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
How many guys in there?
10.
Do I know any of them?
You would have met a couple of them at my wedding. Yeah.
Okay. Can you just pass on one message to me
Uh-huh.
for me? You guys fucking suck. Yeah. And I would love, and you clearly don't know shit about football or care about football or your community. And I hope all your teams suck, unless you have a player that's also on my team.
I have Bijan.
He's not on my team, but I don't want him to suck.
Okay.
Yeah. Except for game one. Game one, Bijan, maybe 14 carries, 58 yards, 2 catches for 16. Kirk Cousins throws 4 interceptions.
That's a given.
That's pretty spot on.
Yeah. I will be at the NAU game though, 100%.
Well,
now, will you bet on NAU?
No.
Is a big question. Okay.
Not this time. No, we don't have Gunnar Cruz in the backfield. What are you talking about?
All right. Shout out to him, by the way. He's doing like Secret Service work.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like gonna.
You may want to take that part out of your out of the YouTube.
What?
Yeah.
If he's doing Secret Service work, he's like, "Oh yeah, motherfucker, you've been on NAU because of me."
Not because of him.
Yeah. So
Who was the other quarterback behind
Will
him?
Plummer.
Will Plummer.
Yeah.
Will Plummer, man, he worked his ass off, man. He
did.
played through a lot. He played through some injuries that would have kept a lot of guys out because we had no other option.
Yeah.
So, full respect to Will Plummer.
Mm-hmm.
Full respect to you guys for watching and listening. Spears and Ollie Overtime on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Really, really quick before we go, if I may usurp 90 seconds. Last night, 2 of the biggest stars, maybe not 2 of them, but like some stars from the NHL died in a drunk driving accident. Not their fault.
Oh man.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That's
Johnny
terrible.
Hockey and his
terrible.
brother. Yeah. So
That's terrible.
condolences to the Gaudreau family.
Yeah, RIP. Yeah, people don't drink and drive. I got to tell you, my law firm, we don't do DUI. A lot of people call me. I refer all of it out. And if the best $20 to $30 you can ever spend is just getting on an Uber and go get your car the next day, because it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
Absolutely.
So public service message for end of our show is, if you're questioning whether you should, just do.
Or don't.
No, Uber, definitely do. Uber. Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure which off ramp.
Like, what are we doing here? We get behind the wheel drunk, or
No, don't. No, just don't.
if you're questioning it, do
Just
it.
don't.
Ollie went full Mike Gundy. Like, oh shit, I've done that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Justin, when you go to the food line in the press box for the 4th time, and if you're questioning if you should,
don't.
just don't.
Don't.
Just don't.
Oh, don't. Okay.
Yeah. Just or do.
Or do.
That one is all right.
You should save a chicken tender next time to put on the brownie.
That's terrible. Why?
I don't know. Because he can. Because this is America.
I'll try it out on Saturday. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. We'll be back next week for another episode of Spears and Ollie Overtime. Thank you guys for watching and listening.
Sweet tomato Spears.